Hare Ganga Mahadev Sri Shankara Parvati Pati Mahadev Sri Shankara.
Namaste, it's Sahara Rose, and welcome back to the Highest Self podcast, a place where we discuss what makes you your soul's highest evolvement. And before we get started, I have an announcement for you. Do you feel deep in your soul that you have a purpose but are overwhelmed and confused about where to start? Are you a multi-passionate person who needs a clear focus and direction so you can truly make progress and impact this year? Do you know deep down that your highest form of joy is your highest form of service, but need clarity on how to make that your reality? Well, you're not alone. Our school system and society has not trained us to follow our intuition and honor our dharmas. In fact, it can feel like totally foreign territory. But the thing is, discovering your dharma is the most important work you can do. And without discovering our dharma, we will never experience true happiness, because happiness is the byproduct of living your purpose. I was where you might be right now, confused and overwhelmed about my own dharma, questioning if I even had one, if my dreams were just wishful thinking, or if my obstacles had happened to be for a reason because it was my opportunity to share them. And through my journey of deconditioning and unraveling and getting true with myself for many, many years, I finally got the courage to write my first book, second book, third book, my newest book, Discover Your Dharma, and help thousands of others discover their dharmas too. So I'm so excited to bring you the first ever course, the 21-day Dharma Discovery Journey. In this course, in just 21 days, in less than 10 minutes a day, I will be your Dharma coach, guiding you step by step on how to discover your Dharma. So if you're interested in learning more, head over to iamsahararose.com/Dharma Discovery. Again, that's iamsahararose.com/Dharma Discovery. The link is in the show notes, and I'm so excited to see you living your Dharma. I am speaking to you right now as I watch the sunset, and just this deep feeling of gratitude and grounding and peace that has swept over me. And I wanted to just record a podcast on energetically where I'm at this time and space, with my book now being out for a month, with just so many of the things that I once dreamt of and hoped for and worked for and strived for and prayed for being in my manifested reality right now, and everything to come. So I feel like the past 10 years or so for me has really been about trying to get to my dharma, figuring out what it was. How can I first understand who I am? How can I get to know myself? How can I figure out what it is that I'm meant to do? And then finally going through my health issues and my body shutting down and going into perimenopause when I was 21, and going on a journey of self-healing and needing to put away my dreams and desires of doing things out into the world because my physical body needed care and attention. And from there, of diving so deep into my own physical healing and bringing my body back into balance through Ayurveda, and actually wanting to share that with others through my blog, and eventually getting the download to write a book on it. And then the next couple years after that, figuring out how to write a book on it, dealing with my family not being in alignment with my path, also not knowing how I would ever have a career doing this, if it's possible, if I'm crazy, and all of the unraveling and deconditioning that came with that journey, which I speak about in depth in my new book, Discover Your Dharma. And from there, writing my first book, Idiot's Guide to Ayurveda, and walking up to Deepak Chopra at a conference, and him writing the foreword of the book, and then writing my next book, Eat, Feel Fresh, and creating a yogic path deck and journal, and now finally this book, Discover Your Dharma. This decade has really been like one thing after the next. And there has always been this goal that I have been, searching for and craving for and striving for, whether it was my career and then learning about abundance and friendships, relationships, home, team, that for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm finally there. And I wanted to share this with you because I feel like we never really get to hear about that other side. I feel like we're always hearing about like, here's this next thing to work on and to move towards and, the steps to get there. And it's really important to always be, moving towards something. However, when do we just realize that we're there? When is it just enough? When do we shift our focus from striving to embodying? And I feel like the past few months, but especially the past 1 month that Discover Your Dharma has been out into this world, has felt like this like big weight off my shoulders. I feel like, at least in my lifetime, it's like learn a lesson myself, overcome it, and then transmute it through sharing it, whether that's through Ayurveda, physical healing, spirituality, my Dharma. And I feel like this soul contract that I had before incarnating of bringing this wisdom out into the world and helping people discover their dharmas too the torch has been passed. And I am now creating more systems for other people to actually be training and teaching this work as well. That for the first time, I have no goal. My goal is to just embody, to be in the body, to physically be here. So one of the main things I guess I'm evolving into right now is to spend more time in the body and less time in the mind. I am someone who can get very deep into information. I am definitely an intellectual. I love to read. I love to learn. And especially in 2020, spent a lot of time trying to understand and figure out what was happening. That I realized that that's never going to lead to fulfillment. We're never going to think our way to enlightenment, but we can feel our way there. And enlightenment is not somewhere out there or up there, but really it's a state within us. It's a frequency that any of us can tap into to fully be embodied in your truth at this moment. So I have felt this just deep sense of grounding, this restorative energy moving through me that is no longer seeking anything, but rather, how can I understand more of what is inside of me? So I have been dancing more than ever, but my dance practice has really been to listen to my body and how my body wants to move. So maybe I'll start with like undulating my back and I'll let that move my shoulders and my hips. And I like let my body be this serpentine like figurine that's just moving and letting the energy flow through it without me dictating how it's meant to move. And I feel like this practice of just listening to the natural ebbs and flows of the body has brought me such a deeper sense of interconnectivity than I've ever felt before. I also have been belly dancing so much more. Belly dancing is a practice that I've been doing since I was, 15, growing up with Persian parents and then performing at my sweet 16 birthday. And I've been belly dancing since, but I never really committed to it, especially as a spiritual practice. I definitely could feel that there were spiritual elements to it. But this year especially has been really honoring that is how I most deeply connect to spirit, through moving my hips, through undulating, connecting to my root chakra, letting my belly be loose and not holding everything in. And energetically, it's our bodies reflect our minds and our minds reflect our bodies. So when we're constantly telling our bodies what to do, how to show up, be in this pose, but don't stick your stomach out and hold this tighter, how are our minds going to show up? We're going to be like, hey, mind, think this, but don't do that. It's like Olympics in the mind. And so many of us are speaking to ourselves in this very rigid way, that allowing more flow and acceptance and ease and surrender and interconnectivity in the body will translate to these expressions in the mind. So I have been belly dancing every single day, letting my hips open, creating more space in these different parts of my body where there was once rigidity. And the more space I open up in my rib cage and my pelvic floor and my shoulders, the more the tension in those areas naturally dissipates. holding the weight of the world on my shoulders, feeling like I have to do everything alone, feeling like I'm not supported. So we can actually shift this frequency without even having to think about it by being it in the body. So I have been so passionate about this. I actually created the Healing and Embodiment through Dance course all about this that really guides you. It's a 3.5-hour long course that guides you through connecting to the natural energies of your body, how your body wants to move and express, and noticing what that says about what's going on deeper within, as we are these psychosomatic beings. So if your body's wanting to move in circular motions, what does that say? If it's wanting to move in a more rigid way or shaking or primal way, what does that say about how your energy is moving within you? So if you are wanting to dive deeper into that course, head over to rosegoldgoddesses.com/dance, and that link is in the show notes. The other concept I have been really passionate about is rewilding, and I'll definitely be doing more podcasts specifically on this. But rewilding is the concept of reconnecting to our wild nature. You know, we were not meant to live in these boxes, being between our homes and our cars and our jobs. And we are so far away from the way that our beings were naturally designed to thrive, connected to the elements, connected to the patterns, the seasons, the elements, the animals. We aren't separate from nature. And I think that this past year, we had to get to this extreme of being so fearful of the outside that we've realized that we are nature in human form, and that our bodies know exactly how to heal and how to thrive if we allow them to. But we've stripped them from their natural habitat. It's like taking a lion and putting it in the zoo and wondering why it's not thriving. Well, the lion was not meant to live in the zoo. And I believe that so many of us are moving right now so we can remember our wild ways, so we can set that light grid in so many places and reconnect back to the earth. So I was in Costa Rica not so long ago, and I was sitting by this pristine waterfall with just this pure water coming straight from earth, like water that has never been touched by any human, blasting from earth in abundant amounts. And it really inspired me so much to just embody that waterfall. The waterfall, it never runs out of creativity. It never runs out of ideas. It never runs out of things to move into. It's always flowing. It's always fluid because it's connected to source. So we are that waterfall. And as long as we are connected to our root, our core, our center, we will always have creativity and imagination and thoughts and music and art and words streaming through us, because it is not from us. The waterfall did not create this water, but the waterfall is a channel, a vessel for this water. And this water is your Dharma. It's your creativity. It is your highest self nature. So as I shared in my 30 Lessons in 30 Years episode, this year for me is the year of the rainbow waterfall, and embodying that in every way and realizing that my energy is not finite. You know, I think sometimes we get into spirituality and we make ourselves so fragile, like, okay, I could only work this much and that's it, I'm going to get burnt out. And it's like, no, when you're tapped into your Dharma, that shit is endless. It is streaming through you. You can create more in 1 hour than most people can in a year, because it's coming straight from source. And letting it be fluid, letting it be easy, letting it move through you, letting it be an orgasm. You're orgasming your Dharma. There's no force there. It's coming through the highest joy, the primal essence of who you are. So I believe rewilding is a concept that so many of us are going to be stepping further into, as we have been so stripped away from our natural habitats. We don't know how to survive. We don't know how to listen to the trees or connect to the animals or read the stars and tune into what's happening from a greater perspective, because we have been essentially turned into zoo animals that don't remember what their natural habitat was once like. So I invite you to rewild yourself, to, if you can, spend a weekend out camping somewhere near you, or take a drive down through a nature preserve, or just go outside and sit in the grass, or maybe in the snow. Or I've seen people taking ice cold plunges in like freezing cold lakes, but reconnecting to the ways that the elements can support us. I believe that when we can tune into the earth's energy, our full power and our full ability comes online. And when we are stripped from that, we are only operating as a fraction of who we truly are. So rewild yourself. Trust that your body knows what to do. You know, we know how to survive in the jungle. We have been doing this for thousands of years. It's only recently that we have forgotten, but the codes still live inside our cells. I really believe that after this quarantine, we're going to have such a deeper respect for Mother Nature than we ever have before. And we're going to see how important it is for us to be directly communing to her. You know, when we're in nature, the problems of the world feel really insignificant. We remember that we are just a tide on this massive ocean, and that life comes and goes, and it's just this beautiful gift and opportunity we have. Like every sunset, no two are ever going to be the same, and no 2 seconds of that sunset are ever the same. And you too are just a fleeting expression of nature at this very moment, here to express yourself in your fullness and to allow yourself to continue to evolve into what is meant to come next. So when we connect back to our wild nature, our pure essence, who we are outside of all the limiting beliefs and conditioning and stories, we remember our enormity. We remember our truth. And we remember that who we really are is love. My grandfather passed away 1 week ago, and some of his last words were, "Stop waiting to live life. This is it. There's nothing else out there to be waiting for. It's here right now." And I think it's just such a reminder for us that we're often striving for the next thing. Oh, once I make this much money, then I'll be happy. Once I hit this goal, this accolade, this achievement, this position, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be able to live my most expansive, true, free life. But it's right now. This is it. So taking each moment as that gift and that opportunity to express your fullness and embody in who you be at this time, without feeling like you are broken or fragmented or this thing to be fixed, but rather you are a soul to know. And the more you know yourself, the more your Dharma reveals, and it never has to come from any sense of force. It never even needs to come out of motivation. It simply is a natural result of you being who you are. And this is each of our birthrights. So this is my invitation to each of you to give yourself that permission to be you right now. You know, maybe instead of spending your time trying to figure out things more and read more and get better, listen to music, soften. Dance, sit outside in nature, sing, and realize that the answers that you have been seeking for have already been inside of you all along. So, sending this message from my heart to yours, this year for me is going to be anchoring into a deeper state of joy and really honoring my Dharma as being a joy priestess. I am here to embody the sun. I am a sun being. I am here to express my radiance with the world. I am here to bring light to the shadows and help people see that this lifetime does not have to be about suffering, but rather can be about freedom, fun, and fulfillment. So anchoring into that Dharma more and more, laughing harder, playing more, loving more freely, and empowering other leaders to be taking that torch and helping others find their dharmas as well. I have something really, really special that I am working on which, wow, it feels like such a divine blessing, and I can't wait to share it with you, but it will be an opportunity for you to actually be a coach in this work. So stay tuned for that. So honoring you in my heart, honoring you in your fullness, honoring you in each ray of the beautiful sunset and sunrise that you are, and allowing us to embody into the full array of the sun being that lives inside of us so we can radiate our light with the planet at this time. If you loved this episode, I would love to send you a free gift, which is the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type. This is a different book than Eat Feel Fresh, my first book ever, which is not released anywhere, and I am gifting it exclusively to those who leave a review of my podcast in the iTunes store. So all you got to do is head over to iTunes where you may be listening to this podcast and leave a review. Take a screenshot that you've left it and email it over to me at Sahara@eatfeelfresh.com. Again, that's Sahara, Sahara, at eatfeelfresh.com. And I will send you back the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type, which goes all into Ayurveda, doshas, plant-based nutrition, body types, all of the things in a really fun and engaging way. So this is my gift to you for free for supporting the podcast. Every single review I personally read. It really helps the podcast be listened to by more people so we can raise the vibration of the planet together. And I am so grateful to have you on this journey. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode. Namaste.